Thank everybody for coming in today, and at this time, I'd like to call the meeting of the Madison County Fiscal Court to order. Kenny?
Master King. Here. Master Barger.
Here.
Master Hughes.
Here.
Master Combs.
Here.
Judge Clark.
Here. Hope you all have had a chance to look at the minutes of the last meeting, and if there are no changes or discussion, motion be in order to approve those as submitted.
So moved. Second.
Master King.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Treasurer's report, we got that our last meeting. The next one will be the fourth Tuesday. At this time, we'll go on into the order of business. And first, we're very fortunate to have, is Dave Wallace here? Dave, if you want to come on up to the podium, please. Dave's with the YMCA, and we're supporters of YMCA, as I think most people in Madison County are, and we're having a Healthy Kids Day and doing a proclamation with the city. And Dave, if you'd kind of just like to bring us up to date, I'd really appreciate it.
Sure. Healthy Kids Day is a national initiative of the YMCA of the USA to bring awareness of those issues that are facing kids in our communities that have either health issues or lack of access to healthy activities, healthy foods. So we have partnered with Richmond Parks and Recreation for the venue at Lake Reba to conduct this event that gives us a greater audience with youth baseball and youth soccer going on that day. We'll be there by the playground, and certainly weather permitting, the traffic, we expect it to be much greater than the events that we've done at the Y in the past. So this is just another effort on the part of the YMCA to be more engaged in our community, to be a partner with other agencies and organizations to be a resource to solve and address community needs.
Any questions? I've really got to brag on Dave. It seems the Y's had its ups and downs, and Dave stepped in, and he's really done a fantastic job out there. I think the participation and people getting involved is as good as it's been in a long, long time, Dave. So we really appreciate the job you've done.
Appreciate that.
How many kids do you think will be involved in this program?
In that,
What are you looking for? I mean,
it's hard to say. We've ordered 300 T-shirts. But you know, with the programs that are going on out there already with Little League Baseball and with the Madison Youth Soccer Association, plus just Saturday activities out there, I would expect we'll give away 250, 300 shirts. We'll probably see maybe 1,000 kids.
that's your hands full.
Well, we've got vendors lined up, other healthcare providers, other folks that deal with matters related to kids and their well-being, and so we'll do demonstrations of some of the programs that we have at the Y, but we'll have other organizations there to be able to hand out information about what they do to serve kids in our community.
Appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
David, if you've got just a minute, I'll read the proclamation.
Absolutely.
You got a second? It's whereas the YMCA is a cause-driven organization that strengthens community through youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. Whereas a strong community can only be achieved when we invest in our kids, our health, our education, and our neighbors. Whereas YMCA's Healthy Kids Day is the Y's national incentive to improve the health and well-being of families and to help them get a jump on creating a healthier summer for the kids. Whereas summer is the time for kids to get up, get out, and grow. But sometimes when the school year ends, so does a child's exposure to activities that stimulate the body and mind. Access to quality activities and resources during the summer months help children learn, grow, and achieve their potential. This exciting day addresses critical gaps in kids' health and education. Whereas YMCAs throughout our nation are dedicated to providing programs and services to thousands of youth and adults of all backgrounds from all parts of our community. And whereas community-based responses are vital to alleviate the growing epidemic of obesity and physical inactivity and achievement gaps in education, particularly among our young people. Whereas YMCA Healthy Days Kids celebrates kids' health and teaches healthy habits for kids and families, encourages active play, and inspires a lifetime love of physical activity. Now, therefore, I, Kent Clark, Madison County Judge, and Mayor Barnes is on here too, and I think they're doing theirs tonight, do hereby proclaim that Saturday, April 26, 2014, shall be observed as YMCA Healthy Kids Day. Furthermore, on April 26, 2014, Telford Community Center YMCA will sponsor Healthy Kids Day to inspire kids to carry a spirit of fun and exploration throughout their summer and give them the tools to keep growing and achieving all year long. Dave, thanks. Would you like to take this? Are you going to the city, or we can get it up there for you?
Whatever the protocol is, but I will be there tonight, yes.
Okay, I'll just send it up for you,
Okay,
so you won't
great.
have to care if you don't. But again, thank you for the job you're doing, and we appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thank you all for having me. Appreciate that.
Okay, next, we are opening bids. We had to rebid the flooring. The people withdrew, and the other two were out of line, I think. So we have rebidded the flooring, and Mark's opening them as we speak. And this is on our Emergency Operations Center project.
Joseph, just now opening the bids. We have a total of 3, Carl, is that right? I have so far opened up one from Martino Brothers, which is properly sealed. The second was from Carpet Decorators out of Central City, and I'll give those to him to actually announce, and then we have one other as well. And Carl, all of them were received within the appropriate time, is that correct? Correct. Okay. And they are all properly sealed and stamped. And the third was from Bennett's Carpet out of Russell Springs.
Yes. We're gonna do bid package number 9, flooring, which is, was it CDI flooring, Carpet Decorators? Let's see, base bid is $58,259. They have alternate bid number 4, which is $4,049. They have bid package number 9, Bennett's Carpet, $32,500. And we have bid package 13, Martino Brothers, $76,740. We have alternate bid number 2 is a deduct of $59,812. Bid alternate number 4, $59,812. And alternate bid number 5 is $59,812.
Okay, and as always, Carl's put together a great staff to review these and check on them, and they put a ton of time into this. But Carl, as you all will take these and analyze them and come back with a recommendation at the next meeting? Okay, Carl, if you want to come up, next is the award the EOC building bids. He's going to run a copy, I think.
Alrighty, we in your Dropbox, we had put some things together on Friday and got it out. Unfortunately, between scanning it and dropping it in your Dropbox, Billy Ray showed me that his were all sideways or upside down, and no matter what he did, they kept moving the opposite direction, so he could never read them clearly. So I gave you guys copies of them this morning. Just, it's exactly what's in your Dropbox, but wanted to go through the process we did, the EOC project highlights. That's how we went through the process of evaluating the bids. I've got 7 steps on there for you. We had a team of 10 people that reviewed these, had ourselves from the county, EMA, CSEP. We had our architect engineer. We had FEMA headquarters from Washington, as well as a bunch of FEMA consultants and representatives from Mission Critical Partners. We had the Kentucky Emergency Management, CSEP EOC project manager, and then Codell, who's working with the architect engineers, as the construction manager, also was in the review process. So that's who all was part of the team. The grading criteria, I included that as well for you. That was in the bid package, so everyone that bid this job and got the specs knew what the evaluation criteria were going to be. And we broke it down into categories like demonstrated management competency, meaning have they done jobs of similar nature, are they capable of doing a job this large, et cetera. Financial condition, can they afford a job this big, or is it going to bankrupt them, or are they going to have a problem funding it? The other thing was safety compliance. We asked for their OSHA safety records to see what they've done over the last year, 3 years, and 5 years. And then the final thing was price. And below you'll see on page 3 of that evaluation criteria, you'll see how the different pieces were stacked up or graded. Competency was 30 points, financial condition was 20 points, safety compliance, they gave 5 points, and price was 45 points, so for a maximum of 100 points. So that was the criteria that was used. Like I said, everybody was aware of it. If we had 3 bids in a particular bid package, we took the lowest 3 and evaluated those to all those criteria. If we didn't have 3, obviously, we only did the ones we had. The big package I gave you are those individual grading sheets that the 10 people sat down face-to-face and went over and graded together in person all at one afternoon. It was a long afternoon, but we got through them all. So that was kind of the process. Any questions on the process before I go into the actual pieces and parts for award, or at least our recommendations? It'll be your guys' final decision.
Where did you get this evaluation process? That's pretty, I mean, it's really good. I just
Through Murphy Graves and Codell, they made that process. They've used it on other EOCs and CSEPs, my understanding, and tweaked it. That team of Murphy Graves and Codell are doing several CSEP EOCs around the CSEP footprint here. So we kind of got the benefit of they perfected some of the processes on other smaller EOCs, because ours is, other than the states, ours is the largest project. But it was a good grading sheet. That's Mission Critical loved it, FEMA headquarters loved it, and it makes it more objective versus subjective.
Any consideration given for local?
Yeah, local gets consideration, but only if the bids are basically tied, and we didn't have that actually come up in any of the evaluations where they tied. But there is, it's in the criteria there about local considerations, but it's only when the bids are tied, because it is all federal tax dollars, so we got to really make sure we're doing the right thing.
Well, it don't matter what tax dollars it is, you gotta make sure you do the right thing, on if it's local, federal, or whatever.
But I'm just saying it gets a lot of scrutiny. That's why Washington headquarters was down with FEMA. They don't usually get involved in bid reviews, but this one they did. They had a person there for the whole day. So any other questions on the process itself?
Are you satisfied with it?
I am.
Okay.
It was a long afternoon, but, 10 guys, and, we all have expertise in different areas. But when you get those 10 together to talk about it, I think we did the right thing. I think we came up with the right answers. And, there's one bid package that I've already talked to Magistrate King about today that we didn't pick the low bid. And that is because the references on the low bid, we had 2 lower bids, weren't very good. It wouldn't be something that you would want to have to deal with, nor would I, if we had that same scenario that the references told us about. So on that one particular case, we went with not the low bid. They did grade the highest, the guy we picked, but he, normally price has a big deal with it, but this
Well, a
time.
lot of times the lowest bid is not the best bid.
That's true. This time it turned out mostly to be the case. Low bid turned out to be better in the scoring. Some of them were very close, but in that particular case, the bid we selected was the best scoring, but it was not the cheapest. It was the 3rd price. But when you looked at safety references, that worried us. So, any other questions on the process itself, and then I'll just go through the packages. You guys have a sheet that was in your drop-down in color, but the one we copied for you here, since the orientation was messed up, is like this, but yours doesn't have a color. It's gray. That's the packages. The grayed out ones are the ones we're recommending get awarded the individual bid packages. So I don't know if you guys want me to go through each one, one at a time. I'll do however you guys want me to.
Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay.
The way you got it.
What was the total at the bottom?
Total for all the bids, it's like 5.6 million, you know. It's
The
on,
good thing
what
about
is it?
that is it's under bid.
Yeah, we came in under budget with our bids. I mean, you know, which is kind of nice because several of the other projects didn't come in under budget at their bids. So it's $5,600,399 and a penny.
On that number 7 there, that drywalling, what, is that figure, the 1735,
That's the combo bid.
Okay, all
That
right.
person bid number 1 package and number 7 package, and if you took out what his number 1 package was from his number 7 package combo, it would be $171,000 for that
Okay.
activity, and our other 2 bids were $227,500 and $247,000 even. So it was also the low bid in that area as well as being the low bid in area number 1. And this is also the same contractor that's got several of the other EOC projects, and they said he's doing a great job. So I felt comfortable with that.
On the score, I mean, I know his financial condition and safety, which would bring it up 3 points on something that is their liability in consideration. The difference is 30,000 on the,
Which package are we talking about?
well, I'm talking about on the companies as the total bid process, as your grades point. I was looking back at it. I know you own something else, but there's, to me, it looks like $30,000 difference in Stewart contract and Rising Sun on the grade scale.
Oh, so you're talking about package 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, and they're a local company. I mean, I'm just asking a question. I don't know if we want to go for what seems to be right.
It was 34,000, Greg.
With the grade scale, I mean, as being 3 points with the insurance and the financial condition, was that, as you thought about that, was that one of the biggest reasons you are going with the Rising Sun?
Well, when you look at the grading package for package number 1, Rising Sun's graded out at a 99 out of 100, and Stewart Contracted graded out at 92.04. So I had a almost 7-point difference in their grading, and Stewart Contracting was about 34,000 higher than the other one. So they graded out lower, and they were 34 grand more. So to us, that was a no-brainer. They graded lower, and they were more expensive. Go with the other guy. That was our logic. You know, like I said, you guys have the ability to change anything you want. It's your ultimate decision. But that was the team of 10's decision, was why would I pick a lower score grade and a higher price? It just, you know, to us, it just didn't make sense. Now, if the numbers and grading had been flip-flopped, then it would have made sense to look at, you know, going the other way.
well, I think the financial condition and safety compliance is what really made it higher on 1.
Correct, yeah. That's exactly true.
And that's very important.
Right. I mean, when we looked at certain companies, like there was one company that bid one of the smallest packages in here, and they have enough money, they could build our EOC and pay cash for it 27 times. So we weren't really worried about them being financially insecure. Other companies, on the other hand, this job they're bidding will be their biggest job ever, but their bank statements that are certified show they had enough money to deal with it. So, you know, we looked at all that kind of stuff because they had to send us their banking records and everything. We had to make sure we got someone that wasn't going to go bankrupt once we got in the middle of our project if they ran into an issue. And we felt comfortable with all of them.
You don't need a pig in the boat.
Greg, did I ever answer your question? I mean,
That answer.
okay. Roger?
I just want to make a comment that, and I told the judge this yesterday, I got a few phone calls in support of Stewart Construction, being that they're local, and they've done some local jobs that we're looking at every day here in the county. And I just don't want somebody looked over that's going to spend their tax dollars here that's not going back out of town. That's not all the reason that you hire them, I know. but evidently from the ones I've talked to, and they're in the concrete business, they're in the building business, these are supposedly good guys, you know, they do their work and do it good. Don't want them to think that we just pick whoever suggested. I hope that, you know, some references is used, or somebody checks them out to see what their work's like and how good it is and whatever, you know.
We checked references on all the low three bidders, on if we had three bidders in a package. And, you know, references is what kicked the roofing company out of it. You know, if you provide me references and I get FEMA to check them and they come back bad,
Good.
I'm thinking that's a good indication I may have an issue later, because normally you wouldn't give me a bad reference. You'd think that would be a good reference. So, but, you know, like I said, they scored lower and they cost more. I mean, on that bid package one. We knew they were local. They called my office too, seeing if they could drum up support. I said, I'm gonna look at everything fair. That's the way we do it. We got a team that's gonna evaluate it based on criteria that were in the bid specs. And if you grade out the highest or tie, then we'll have to look at it, you know. But when you don't, and you're 35 grand more, 34 something, to us, we said, well, we really can't justify that. Not based on tax dollars. But, like I said, ultimately, it's not my decision, it's your guys'.
Well, I've got confidence in you because you put together this package, and I know you've checked out all the references, and it goes right back to the grading scale there when you talk about financial and safety, and, I mean, that's two key issues. So, you know, I'm gonna take your word for it. And I know, I understand where Roger and Greg's coming from. I understand that.
But Carl, seriously, have you all, and you know how many jobs you've bid, have you all ever been as intense, I mean, with that kind of crew grading and making recommendations on a project?
Only on the radio upgrade project, which was a much larger project.
Yeah.
But that is the only one that we went through this level of grading and weighted grading scale with multiple people reviewing it independently and then collectively. But this is only the second time in almost 11 years I've been here that we've went through this depth, because it's such a huge project.
It looked to me like what you're saying, Stuart, it's still a little bit higher even than Rising Sun. It's just almost like Kentucky last night, just fell just a little bit short of winning this thing.
Yeah, Stewart finished second, just like UK did last night. You know, they graded a little bit lower,
But they were just not quite there.
and, you know, they were 34 grand higher. I mean, that's, you know, I always bring you guys the facts and let you guys make your decision based on what science and information is. And whatever you guys want to do, I'll support that.
Well,
I ain't no doubt you've done a good job.
I think we've got to support what you all recommend, Carl. I mean, it'd be kind of ridiculous for you all to go through what you've done, especially the difference in the grading on the two, plus the difference in the 34,000, doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
So then, what, like I said, the highlighted lines is who we want to recommend for the various bid packages. Obviously, I don't have a recommendation for bid package 9 because we rebid it. And they split 9 into terrazzo tile and the other flooring, so that's why we got kind of weird numbers now with the flooring stuff. But we'll get it figured out by next court and bring it back to you for that. But that won't hold us up. That's the last piece that goes in anyway, is flooring, so.
You need a motion on it, Judge?
Yeah,
All except number 9, which you have to open and.
Yeah, we
well,
open
we've
that
done
today
open.
and we'll bring it back in next court, 2 weeks.
You say yes?
Yeah.
So move.
Second.
Let me clarify there, Judge. This is approving all these, this motion is approving all these in whole except for number 9.
Except
Yeah.
for number 9, the recommendations from the 10-member committee that made the recommendation.
Magistrate King,
Yes.
Magistrate Barger,
No, but I want to explain why it's no. It's not against the contractors that's listed here as much as it is Codell. I feel like we had a bad experience with Codell when we built our annex. A lot of change orders, which I know there'll be change orders for this one too, I can assure you that. You know, it always is on any building of this size. Magistrate Combs, and I know he'll remember it, at least every other meeting for seemed like a year or longer, we was asking when we ever gonna get done with this building and when's the change orders gonna quit. Larry, do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
It extended out quite a while.
Long time.
That don't mean that this will happen
Well,
this time.
Codell's not building this building, though. I want to make sure everyone understands that.
I understand that, but they're overseeing the construction of it.
They are overseeing the construction along with Murphy Graves.
I understand that. I don't feel like that we was given the chance to okay who was gonna construct, oversee it to start with. But, that's my reason. It's not against these contractors. I know they need the jobs. But I say no.
Okay, let me clarify something about the annex while we're talking about it. It was a problem, but it wasn't anybody's problem, more nature than anything else. The stone company out of Texas sent us the wrong stone for the building. Luckily, the architect in Codell found that out before we started putting it up, notified the company, sent them a piece of it back, and they realized that there was their mistake. In the meantime, while it's being reordered, Katrina hits and wipes them out. They finally filed bankruptcy. We were held up over a year just on the stone around the building. So the big delay on that was nature. It wasn't any particular individual whatsoever. The building's turned out fine. We've had a few problems with the cooling tower and the heat and air, things like that, but we're getting those things worked out. But it was no human's fault that we took longer to get the project done than what was scheduled. I mean, it held us up way over a year on that. So just want to make that clear. And also, Murphy Graves is very comfortable. They've worked together. And what have they done? 3 EOCs already?
I don't know if ours is the third one or the fourth one, but there's several other projects. Like next week, we're going to Powell County's brand new one that they did together. It's done. We're going to have our first meeting there and get to see that place. So, and it got done on schedule even with our crummy winter. So, I mean, if you get the right contractors, as long as Mother Nature cooperates a little bit, we have a penalty in here for the contractors that don't meet their deadlines. So it's all in the spec. They all knew that when they bid it. And as you'll see on my little bid highlight sheet, the last item, number 7, is how important the contracts will be with these various contractors to make sure there aren't a ton of change orders, because any project has change orders, but you got to keep it, policed and monitored correctly. So it'll be really important that Mark's office, and I've already talked to Matthew Day, he's excited when he gets back from vacation to start looking at all these contracts. So he loves that stuff. He's really good at it too.
That's why he's a good employee.
So we're gonna make really good contracts, but no one took any exceptions to any of our specifications, so we'll just make sure our contract's real clear about that, and they'll sign on a dotted line just like we will, and we'll have a performance bond, and we'll go forward. It will be all right. I'm sure there'll be some issues that pop up. I mean, you can't do 27,000 square foot worth of construction and remodeling without having issues. So, and that's the size of this project. It's pretty huge.
Kenny?
Magistrate Hughes?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes.
Got you. Come on. Well, everybody's looking at you. They're waiting on you, aren't they?
Okay, Carl, we appreciate all you all put into that to make sure that we've done the right thing.
Here's the bid packages if anyone needs some light reading.
The newspapers might want to look at those a little bit. I'm just kidding. Okay, next on the agenda, let me get to them here. We've got several budget amendments. The first one's ordinance 1402, and that's a budget amendment with the jail fund. This is unrealized, unbudgeted receipts from the Commonwealth of Kentucky. They started doing this, and I don't know if it was one of the programs they set up, but we didn't budget it because we didn't think we were going to continue to get it, but apparently we're continuing to get about $17,000 a quarter, Glenna. So.
And DOD had told us not to budget it in our budget because they didn't think the pot was going to hold out and that we were going to continue to get it, but we have, so.
So in order to bring that up, we've received 42 and probably get another 17, but it might not be until after the 1st of July. So we'd like to just go on and budget in the $42,370 that we received from the Commonwealth of Kentucky that we were told not to budget.
So moved.
Second. Judge, is this something to do with the jail fund, or?
Well, yeah, I think it's got some to do. I'm not real sure where they've been taking like court costs and stuff, Larry. Well, they change that all the time, and then with the House bill last year that was really designed to take some of the burden off the jail and also increase a certain amount they get back. So I think that's from the results of that House bill that this
It's
is.
labeled local corrections assistance is what it comes in as.
So
How
it's-
made up, I'm not sure.
I don't really care as long as we get it.
Exactly. Okay.
But I was just curious where. Okay, thank you.
But that's what it is. It's the results, I think, from the House bill that's going into a pool of money. It's divided depending on the size of your jail and things.
I got a call roll.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Call. Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
And Judge Clark.
Yes. The next one is ordinance 1403, budget amendment on the road. We've got three here, if you'll look, 4516, 4519, and 4727. The first one is truck license distribution. We do this every year. I mean, local government gives us this number to put in the budget, and it comes up over every year. I don't know if it's because of our growth or the more trucking that's doing, but it's come up more than local government told us and more in budget. So that amounts $9,952. The municipal road aid was $19,498. And then if you'll look at road reimbursement, what this was, $275,000 was we went on and paid our blacktop bill, where typically we use LGEA money to play part of the blacktop money. We save that and we keep a pot of money for any emergencies. And we also, when we put a lot of blacktop down, we use some of that. But we went on and paid it out of the line item, so we're taking the money out of LGEA and putting it back into the road line item. And that's $275,086. So for a total back into the road of $304,536.
So moved.
Second.
Master King.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. And the next one is ordinance 1404, and this is a real special one because it's reimbursement from the ice storm, and we'd been sitting on it for several years, and myself and seven other judges met with the governor's chief of staff and the secretary of the cabinet, really over reimbursements. We were getting held up to 60 days. Carl had a problem, all the EOCs did. To try to get that straightened out, we were sitting on $400,000 or $500,000 in reimbursements for up to 60 days. And they realized we couldn't operate like that, nor could any of the other counties. So we had a great discussion with Larry Bond and the secretary, and in about 3 weeks, we started getting our reimbursements back. And I mentioned while we were down there that we still had a pretty good FEMA reimbursement come from the ice storm. And we got the federal amount of $386,268 and the state amount of $135,145 for a total of $521,413 that was really not expected. We didn't think we'd ever see it. If we did see it, it would be a long time from now. But after the talk with them, they put all this together, and each one of the CSEP counties got their, several of them still had ice storm reimbursement. So we got our $521,000, and I'd like to budget that back in, and we did take that and put that in our investment account as soon as we got it. And it's drawing 4.3% interest.
Well, I want to thank you for following that up, because it has been a long time. And I didn't think we'd ever get the last one. But I want to thank you, Judge, for all the work you've done on that.
So moved.
Second.
Master King.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. We've got an MOA here we've got a request from a couple guys, really it's Robert Childress, and he is asked, he owns the place, the Hagen Farm. If y'all are familiar with that, Greg, you all are familiar with that off Goggins Lane. It's right past the Baker Farm, and you go back in the lane. They've never had water out there. It's really kind of been a mess. We've tried to come off Cardinal Lane with it, and we couldn't work that out. And it's really in the city's district now. It's in the old Milford district, which the city bought. So the city services it, but the city wasn't interested in running all the way down Goggins and then all the way up this lane to get to these two houses. So the individual bought the farm from the Hagens, and what he's asking is the city has agreed to set a meter for him right behind the church there at the gate, the cattle gate of the Baker property, right there at the end of Goggins. And he's going to take it upon himself to run a 2-inch line down the county's right-of-way there on Goggin down to his lane, and then from there he'll run it down the middle of the road to the homes. Simple, we've done it a lot of times. The district usually does it, but because this is in Richmond and Richmond providing the water, all we're doing is allowing him an easement to put the water line. It just states that Robert Childers will be allowed to run a 2-inch water line from the Baker property gate to 1163 Goggins. Robert Childers will be responsible for all costs associated with the line and installation, and will be responsible to have existing utilities flagged, and also allow Madison County Road Supervisor Leroy Brock to inspect installation of said line before covering up. Also, Childress agrees that in the case of any construction, any widening of Goggins Lane, he will be totally responsible for the relocation to meet the needs of the reconstruction. So all we're doing is letting the guy that can't get water use an easement down through there to run it at his expense.
Will the 2-inch line allow him to do any additional development?
No. No, and that's kind of, and I told him that, of course, it's in the city now anyway, but.
I sit on the water board, and I've heard about this for 2 years.
Oh, we've worked at it. We tried to go through Bear-sized mower
Right.
and put a box over there, which would have been a lot easier, but we never could make it work out. But I'd like
And
the
needs
court's
water.
permission to.
As long as it's a 2-inch line, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Master King,
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Hughes.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Clark.
Yes. Judges' reports. Again, I mentioned last meeting, empty bowls at First Baptist Church. It's always a huge crowd out there. It's 11 to 1 for lunch and 4:30 to 6:30, and that's used to feed the hungry of Madison County. The golf report for March is in your packet. Looking at the weather, I don't know if I haven't looked at it yet, but how much golf reporting it is. And the Homemakers Extension Annual Meeting is April 22nd at 6 o'clock, and that is always a good meeting and a good meal, and everybody's invited, but I suggest you get your tickets early because it usually fills up. That's all I have on the judge's report, and I would take comments from department heads.
I've got one, Judge.
None?
Nobody else?
Kenny?
I just want to thank the deputy clerks in our office. On Friday, the 28th of March, March is one of our busiest months, we set a record for renewals and for total pieces run through, and I thought that was a big record. We had a little bit of a line that day. The next day, we broke that record. We had 1,339 transactions that day, 1,018 renewals, and we never had more than 2 or 3 people out the door. So we're really, our staff is really taking on the challenge. We're much better able to serve the public we're fully staffed now, fully trained, and everybody's really doing a good job and working hard. And I want to thank them for all they do.
You're kind of like Kentucky. You finally come together.
That's right. We're rolling.
Excellent job, Kenny.
How's the remodeling in Burrico?
It's finished.
Good.
We're going to have an open house. I wanted to have it by around April or so, but we might be into May before we have an open house down there. Yeah, it's finished, and it's an excellent addition. And ADA compliant, and one of the things the Bridge City wanted was to keep kind of our people contained and not out in the hallway, make our customers bring a lot of people with them, sometimes kids and everything, and it's all been staying within our office, so it's really been a big help to us and to them.
Good deal. Great job, Kenny.
Thank you.
Mike, anything? Magistrates, Greg?
I like to say on the roadways, I know Scott's out and they picking up all of our county roads and picking up the trash and making our county look better. State roads is another thing that seems to be that, you know, every state road you drive, I know it ain't the state's fault, it's people's throwing their trash out or putting their trash in the back of trucks and it blowing out. And I'd like to see us take more pride in our county as residents and people that's out there that keep our roadsides from looking like waste dumps. And you know, if I know Doug works with the state on picking up some of the roads, and we got inmates out working, picking them up, but I think we fail sometimes is out in our county, and it's just around the city limits. And I'd like to see us move more out in our counties to on our state roads, which I've talked with Doug several times, and you know, we fund as buying trucks and furnishing the prisoners, and I think the county part needs to be beautified as well as out in the state, on the state roads. So I'd like to see them be more aggressive out in the state roads out in the county instead of just around the city limits.
Doug, I'll ask you, I mean, I know the weather's been so in climate this winter, but you still running the two crews, one for the rural secondary and one for the...
We're still running. We had we were down like 4 people, so we had a training session yesterday, and we got about 49, 50 inmates trained, and making eligible to go out and be on the roads also.
Okay.
The Department of Transportation comes out there and do our training for that.
Good deal.
Make that work, but it's like Greg said, it's busy, it's everywhere.
I know.
You know, you can pick up this road today, 3 days later, and go back and get it again. It's pretty sad. But
It is. I spoke to Rotary Club last Wednesday, and that was the biggest question and answer series was trash. And everybody was bragging on Scott and the solid waste department, what a great job they're doing, but it was still, you know, it was just, you know, and we could keep crews out around the clock and you couldn't get it picked up. I mean, it's a shame. But it's a good comment, Greg. Thanks. Roger?
I know Leroy's not here, but I want to thank the road department having to fix potholes and then try to clean up too from the winter. And it's been tough on them, I'm sure, but they do a good job. And I've told it before, but periodically I'll go in and give them a list of a few potholes, and most of the time when I go in, half of them's already done. You know, so that's, I mean, they're keeping up with it the best they can. They got other things to do besides fix the potholes. So everybody, I just hope understands it. You know, they can't get it the day that you called it. It might be a week, it might be 2 weeks, but they know about it and they'll get to it. Got a little ferry news, 2 or 3 different ways. First thing, the bill to relax the restrictions on the captain's license has passed through the House, going to the Senate. I feel real good about it going to the Senate. Mitch McConnell's been talking for us to the new admiral with the Coast Guard. And by it coming out of the House and the Coast Guard's bill was what it was attached to, they didn't have a kick on it there, so I don't know why the Senate would. I feel good about that. And if this happens, this will be something that's never been done, because the Coast Guard don't talk to anybody. They don't change the rules for anybody. Everybody plays with the same rules. But we finally convinced them that these little old ferries, and it's not just ours, but this is a Valley View ferry bill. That's the name of it, and it'll be just for us. But we'll be setting the standard for a bunch of others to do the same thing that we have done if we can get this passed. And that's exactly what we wanted. And we was advised to start with to not go in as a group, because everybody's got their own ideas. They said, take your idea and explain it to them, and if it flies, then they can copy off of yours, and that's what we've done. Got a big issue with the signs that we hang up that tells you that we're open and closed, and this is a pretty simple way of doing it, but we just hang a little old closed sign on our Valley View ferry signs as you go down Tate's Creek or Jack's Creek. They've been stealing them. If we're closed, they steal them. If we get back open, then they bring them back and hang them up, telling people we're closed when we're really open, you know, so it's kind of confusing. So I bought signs that I could hinge to the other signs that's been riveted to it. Well, they took a chopping axe and cut something and cut one of them off, you know. So, we're looking at getting a grant through the state that there's a pool of money and we think we can use it for this, that we can put an electronic sign mounted on top of the other one that lights up, closed or open or whatever. It'll have to run off of electricity, which all of our signs are where we can attach on. So all we'd have to do is make a phone call and it'll change it. That don't mean they can't take a gun and shoot the sign out, but, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But, you know, if anybody, and I need to talk to the sheriff about this and find out the process.
You need to talk to District 7 about getting it permitted.
Well, if anybody sees anybody fooling with the sign, just get a license number. It may be the people that works for us, but it may be the guy that's tearing these signs up and stealing them too. And we got to find out something. And one of them's in a secluded area where there's not a house around that can see it or anything. So that's the big problem there is, you know, we can't catch them. They're doing it in the middle of the night, I'm sure, you know, because the guy will call me that morning and say the sign's gone or it's back or whatever, you know.
Get you one of them livestock camera, wildlife cameras.
Yeah.
You can flash them.
Keep it hid good enough to where they don't steal it. Because they can do that. I had something else here. I got my notes I got to look up for a minute. We're waiting on the paperwork to come back to build our new boat. We don't want to make a press release on it yet until we get that paperwork back. But we'll do a big press release on it when we do. It looks like we're going to get it at what we thought we could build it for, which is about $200 and some thousand cheaper than what the state said it would cost. So, good news there. That's all I got.
Thank you, Roger. Bill Ray?
I don't have much, Judge. I just like to bask a little bit in Dominique Hawkins' contribution to the Kentucky Wildcats.
Oh, yeah, he
this
done well.
season.
He done well.
That's a source of pride for all of us in Madison County, should be, and to think that he was in that championship game that was here at Central last year and was a big contributor there last night and this whole tournament. And we're just all of us just proud of Dominique and I just wanted to mention him, so.
Good deal. Larry?
Judge, I really don't know anything. I'm glad the blacktop plants are finally open, get some Class I, and then, you know, Roger or Greg was talking about the potholes. You know, the worst thing about that is, those potholes have got to be dry before you can put anything in them, and with the rain we have, every time they get ready, I know 10-16, you know, they're ready to patch, you can't put it in water, it won't stay. So, hopefully, you know, we're gonna have a little more drier weather, and then with the blacktop plants opening, we're gonna, I know one road's gonna be done, and I know Judge wants it done too, so 10-16 is a nightmare. It's worse than a night in jail. But we need to.
Take that over there.
It's overcrowded, and too many potholes. But other than that, Judge, I'm just glad to be here.
Glad you're here, Larry. Any comments from the audience? Anybody like to approach the court? Anything on your minds? If not, motion to pay the claims and approve the transfers? So move.
Second.
Master King?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Hughes?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Clark?
Yes. Next meeting be Tuesday, April 8th.
That's today, Judge.
That's
Wednesday.
today. That's, I knew better than to read that. Oh, they've been covered. I gotta give them credit. They've been covered up. It's been so busy around here. But,
2 weeks from today, Judge.
We'll figure it out.
we'll figure it out. You'll get something on your boxes or something. Okay.
Move adjourned.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
All in favor, get up and leave.
Thank everybody for coming in. We appreciate it.